It was only 220 kilometers to Leh from Kargil. So I decided to leave at about 4:30 in the morning so that I could travel to Leh and then return to Kargil to halt the night. But by about 2 o'clock, early morning prayers from a nearby mosque woke me up, and thereafter sleep just refused to return. I had just about slept 2 hours that night. But by 2:45 in the morning, I was up and on the road to Leh. The 220 kilometers was done in about 5 hours. The road condition was that bad. Plus, the winding roads and the slow creeping fatigue made me drive extremely cautiously. By 7:30 a.m., I was in Leh. I got my attestation done and tanked up before returning to Kargil. On the way back, again, I met with two of the friends I had met the previous night at Kargil, two Malayalis who were on a road trip to Leh. After a few photographs, I embarked on my trip back to Kargil. I reached the hotel where I was staying at about 1:15 p.m. I was completely bushwhacked. I needed some much needed rest. I slept for about an hour and a half and then got back onto the road and decided to go through to Srinagar. And I knew that if I was not able to get to Srinagar, I would at least be able to sleep at Sonmarg that night. I must say that the traffic jam that day I faced at the Zojila Pass had to be seen and experienced to be believed. It was later than 9:30 p.m. that I turned into the CRPF camp in Badgaon for a much needed rest in the night. without any doubt, Tezu and Leh are two of the toughest corners of the four corners of India expedition. And having conquered these two corners, I was on a high in Srinagar. Therefore, I decided that the rest of the route I should attempt faster than the earlier two corners. Therefore, I left the CRPF camp in Belgaum very early in the morning. However, that day was a huge disappointment because I spent nearly 14 hours behind the wheel in transiting less than 500 kilometers. The first holdup happened at the Lower Munda toll post, where there was a very large convoy of vehicles held up for more than 24 hours because of a large landslide near Ramban. The DTI who was in charge of managing the traffic there told me that the contractor who was in charge of widening the national highway had almost brought down a whole hillock, and that had impeded the movement of vehicles for more than 24 hours. However, he assured me that the holdup was very close to being cleared and that I would have to only wait there at the toll post for about 3 hours. And by 8 a.m., the traffic got cleared and there was a mad rush once again. Everybody wanted to be at the front of the queue. But within about half an hour, I started heading the queue and I moved fairly rapidly towards Ramban. But close to Ramban, the traffic slowed to a complete crawl and thereafter to a stop. Traffic continued to crawl beyond Ramban, and I was caught up in this huge movement of trucks which had been denied passage for more than 24 hours the previous day. It was a very frustrating movement, but the saving grace was that I was able to have a wonderful vegetarian meal at Pira, at the Khajuria Dhaba of Rajma and Chawal, the most delectable vegetarian meal that I've ever had in my life. But by the time I got to Jammu, it had been very late in the evening. Despite that, I decided to push on and reached Jalandhar by about 7:30 p.m. And by that time, I was sure that the difficult days had been behind me. planned the Four Corners of India expedition, the initial target I had set myself was 500 hours. However, when day 17 dawned of the expedition, when I was setting out from Bangalore, I was way below the target and I was on the way to better the existing record by a handsome margin. And as it turned out, after traveling to Kanyakumari and terminating the expedition in Chennai, I had completed 13,214 kilometers in 403 hours, shaving nearly 40% of the existing record. If the time of rest is taken away, the entire duration of the expedition was less than 300 hours. In 17 days, I had traveled through 17 states at an average speed of 57.5 kilometers per hour. It was indeed a truly, truly satisfying drive and a wonderful expedition to have done.